friends, welcome back to the homestead. How you doing? Haven't seen you for ages. So today we're jumping in with these beauties. My mother-in-law gave me some squash, beautiful winter squash, and not only am I going to make pumpkin and bean stew for tonight, but I wanted to preserve the rest of them because I have my new Instant Pot. So Stan the Instant Pot man has a friend. This is the new one, and it's got a canning function on it, so I can do small batch canning. I saw Tracy from our Small Holding Adventure using it the other day. She recommended my big canner as well. And so these are going to be chopped up. We're going to preserve them. We're going to get them on the shelf so I can use them all the way through the rest of the winter, and they're not going to go bad in the garage. So a few things are turning. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's go.
So we begin, as you would imagine, by chopping up the squash. I found the best way for me is to chop them into chunks and then take the peels off. I've not had loads of experience with squash. I don't eat loads of it, but I just find the easiest way for me is to chop the chunks and then take the skin off. Oh, I just flicked a seed there and was making sure I didn't go in my cup of tea. Also trying to make sure I save the seeds as well. And as you can see, I've switched to a bigger pan, bigger two bowls rather, because I was not expecting to get quite this much meat off of all of these pumpkins, but they were amazing. Really glad that my mother-in-law was so very gracious to give us these. So this is what I mean by taking the chunks and cutting the skin off the chunks, and it tends to get them off easier and quicker. I've tried a peeler, I can't get it to work. It's as simple as that. So we carry on chopping. We're getting through them now. Look, some of them they're going down at the side there. Again, just it's not rocket science, is it? It's chopping some spuds up, not spuds, chopping some pumpkins up. But I was getting there, trying to get as much of the waste into the thing as possible, into the bowl as possible. And then look at the colour of this beautiful squash. I'm not sure whether this was an acorn squash, but absolutely stunningly beautiful colour inside. Absolutely gorgeous. And this one really tasted nice as well. We had mainly this one in the stew at the night time, and it was delicious. It really was gorgeous. So, yeah, just chopping them into chunks. And then, as I've said, I'm repeating myself now.
So this is what we ended up with. We've got a great big bowl full of squash that we're going to can. Well, I need to sort that into what I'm going to use for tonight's tea, dinner, anywhere except up north. And then I can can the rest of that. We're going to get the jars out, and I think I might need a few more jars than I've got out. I've got 3. I did not anticipate this much pumpkin meat. And we've got some nice pumpkin seeds that I'm going to wash and dry, maybe roast, stick them in the seed jar that we sprinkle on all our food. So that is not too shabby. We have one pumpkin that it's going really lucky in a lot of places. So I decided I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put that one in. But I'm quite happy with the rest of these. So let's get on with washing the jars, getting a few more out, and seeing what we can set up. I may even need to get my big canner out after all, but we'll see. See how many we can get in the jars.
So I had put this pumpkin into warm water because it did say I needed to get them warm. Obviously, I'm going to be putting them into a warm canner. If you could do it all cold, but I decided I wanted to do this one. So that is just under hot water, so I can put my fingers in it, but it's still very warm. And I'm obviously placing them into the clean jars, trying to get them as packed as I can without overloading them and stuff. I'm going to put some hot water. Oh, okay, because I've got different sizes, so I'm starting again. I realised I'd cut quite a few of the chunks up quite big. I think I should have gone through and really made sure that all of the chunks were 1-inch cubes. Just trying to make sure that I did, but I'll know that for next time, won't I? We learn. I'm very new to this. I only started pressure canning at all last year. And so I'm still very new to it. So I'm trying to find some even-sized ones to go in this jar. Trying to get all the ones in the same jar, the same size. So they might be a bit bigger in one and a bit smaller in another, but trying to make sure they're all the same size. There we go with the hot water. So the jars have had hot water sat in them. Then I've packed them with the pumpkin that's quite warm, and I've put hot water, freshly boiled out of the kettle. I've just made sure they're all pushed down, wipe the rim with some vinegar on a cloth, place the lid.
So this is the first time I'm using this new canner, and I'm nervous. It should be as simple as you set it going for the time, so I'm going to try it. Also, how annoying is it that I've only got one lid like that? Is the lid going to go on? Oh, you're joking. The lid's not going on, look. They're too big to fit in it. Oh no. Right, so that's something to note for later. I'm going to have to get my big pressure canner out now. Oh dear. So, happy days. I've just put all of them in the canner. They don't fit. Of course they don't fit. My jars are too tall, ever slightly too tall for the canner. I have got some other ones, but I wanted to do these, and so I've got to go get my big canner out. You live, you learn. Let's carry on, shall we? I've emptied them all back into the bowl. I'm going to refresh them with the hot water. I'm going to fill my jars back up with hot water, get the big pressure canner on. We'll go again, shall we?
So that's exactly what we've done. We've got the water heating in the pressure canner on the hob there. I've refilled all the jars with warm water, hot water, to keep them warm so that the pressure temperature isn't different. The pumpkins are back in some more warm water, hot water. I've reboiled the kettle. We're off again. All right. So we're all ready for them. I'm packing them in. There's the hot water from the kettle. I've done this a few times now, so I know my little setup on the side there with my little canning lids all ready. Again, with pressure canning, it's slightly different because it's going to be in there for such a long time. As long as they're hot and clean on the inside,
at least with this,
you don't have to you don't have to worry about sterilising the insides and the outsides and the lid, all of those kind of things. So as long as they're clean going into with the food going into them, then the heat of the pressure canner gets so hot that it will be okay to not sterilise them before you start. Here goes the lid. Hang on, watch the mistake. I do this every single time. I put it on the hob the wrong way round. And when I go to put the lid on, it's the wrong way. I need to remember that little tab goes at the front.
So there we have the pressure canner on. I'm going to wait for it to steam. Obviously, follow your manufacturer's instructions. I've done this a couple of times now. I'm still learning, bear with me. But this is the pressure canner on. I've got some lovely amount there. That's perfect for tea tonight. It's going in a stew, so it'll be filled out with other things. I'm really quite pleased with that. So I got all of the cans, jars in, thankfully, and they are in there just readily going. So I think the recipe I'm using says to can them for 55 minutes in pint jars, and that's what they are. And so I'm just going to wait for it to start venting and then set my timer. I see the ever-moving washing in the background. I can't tell you how many times I've moved that washing rack to try and keep it out of view. And there it is. It's appeared anyway. Life. I've got to dry my washing, my dryer don't work. So yes, this is going to sit now and vent, and then I've got my little timer on the top of my hood that I use all the time. So vent for 10 minutes, then put the weight on to get it to pressure, and then once it's at pressure, that's when you start the timer. If it drops below, you have to restart the timer again. So I'll be dipping in and out while I'm doing tea and things like that. Well, it's not tea, it's only 1:45 in the afternoon. But yeah, we'll catch up in a minute when it's all pressurised and ready to go.
So we're at 11 pounds of pressure. I've just started the timer and someone's crying. And we'll put it on for 55 minutes. So it's decompressed, it's all undone now. So we're going to get these out. Look at these, look. Woohoo. Oh. Whoopsie, bashing the thingy. We're going to leave them to cool down fully now for 12 to 24 hours, and then they will go on the shelf and we will have yummy squash for the next however long it takes us to eat it. Really, I'm so excited about this. Never done this. Look, it worked. It only worked. Woohoo. So if you see, so these lids have dented, these lids have still got a little raise in the middle, but as they cool down, and this one, these front two have got a little raised bit in the middle. Can you see where it's up like that? So as that cools down, that should pop and it should seal properly like these. This one doesn't move, look, out it's hot. But I'm going to leave them. Hopefully they'll pop, and if not, they'll just get used first. It's fine. So there we go. There's the canning video. So pleased we've got those dealt with. They were going off, as you saw. I had to chuck one in the bin because it was going off. Really, really pleased with it. I say, as long as those two suck down, we're absolutely fine. I'll give them a little rinse off, because one thing I forgot to do was put some vinegar in the water. Stops the line scale, but they don't look too bad actually. So I think they'll do great. They'll go on the shelf, and we might even be able to keep some through till fall this year and do some pumpkin pie again, because I loved that this year. First time making it this last year just gone. Yeah, so January is off to a good start. See you next time.